Good morning again, everybody. I was asked to present one of the programs set up by the National Employment Fund in realization of its mission of employment promotion. It was only to find out a means to push rural population to develop their rural activities. What happened before that? Before looking at the summary, we realized that by doing a study with the rural populations, that their main objective was not completely commercialization, the increase of income, but their principal objective is to subside. They want how to feed their families. This is the main need for these populations. We ask ourselves, saying that if we try to bring something more, maybe we'll go from production, subsistence production, to commercial production. It was in this framework that the program was set up. I started by the definition program and its objectives, the target population strategy, and after strategy, I will provide an example because it's a program in which the setup, the implementation, which creates employment. I will talk about all the steps in the agriculture and provide the results. As for the definition, it is a program, interactive program of training and financing, funding of self-employment. Why? Because training allows them to reinforce their technical knowledge in order to improve their production. In this program, it's not about people who have never done any activity, but about people who are already working, and then we bring some more knowledge to help them develop better their activities. In order to develop this, you need funding, you need the means at the level of the new methods or techniques that are explained to them. The general objective is the promotion of employment and the fight against poverty. As specific objective, we have developed technical knowledge and increase the revenue, the income, and reduce population movement and joblessness, urban joblessness. It's in all African countries that young people in the cities are in the cities and do not have employment, do not have anything to do, and this creates other problems, and where there are thefts, aggressions, and so on. And also to contribute to the growth of development of activities and favor the putting together of producers in groups, in associations, because when they work alone, it does not reach anything concrete, because they are easily disappointed by asking them to put them together, and by providing some rules, some demands on them, we reach the awaited, expected objective. and then create social activity, economical activities, stimulate these, and provide opportunities just like others, support structures for development. There are not many associations that help. While doing this, they discover activities, opportunities that they did not know before. The target population are those living in rural zone. The target is rural population. What is strategy and mechanism? In the strategy, we have 5 steps: sensitization campaign and training, and selection of candidates, and training, and funding, and finally, and follow up. As for the campaign of sensitization, the objective is to make them understand the meaning, the content of the program, its advantages, and the conditions of eligibility. These sensitizing campaigns are made in target villages where we want to launch the program. The responsible person is the National Employment Fund, and this training structure for the training and the follow-up and evaluation of the program, identification and selection of the candidates. This is just to work with the best people to succeed. We realize that when we accept them as they come, sometimes the program does not make progress. So we decided to work with the structure of which shows the motivation of the person, and when the person respects the demand of the program, we realize that these populations coming to benefit of the program, they have also a logic that constituted with the president themselves, the members of the family, the 5 spouses, the children, and it does not reach anything. Now we take the time to go deeply to know and make sure that even if it's legal, these people who really have the land and want to do something, to have an activity, can continue. This identification and selection is in the village. The family always moves to the village because we cannot bring all the populations to train them somewhere else. So the responsibility, we work with working delegations of the ministries in charge of the domains chosen, because they are on the land and they know better these grouping of populations. As for the training, it is reinforced capacities of the beneficiaries through a theoretical and continuous training on the field. Training is done by the training helped by the Employment Fund, so that the Employment Fund makes sure that the teaching provided brings something to these people who are already working already. We want to make sure that what we teach them is useful and allows them to reach the objective, to improve and develop their activities. As for funding, we have candidates through a procedure. Is provided in the shape of materials and equipment, because when we teach them new methods, the methods demand new equipment adapted to this new way of doing, to have a better, the expected result. So we give them the equipment and the products as a loan. We give them as loan. It's not a gift. And also the support, financial support that help them to launch their activity. The place of the contribution of every beneficiary is the manpower, the work, because without the manpower we cannot reach the objective. How to organize the beneficiaries. This organization allows to reduce the level of investment. Instead of working with one person, work with a group of people. This makes the follow-up easier, and it's also a very important factor of success of the development. Everything is done in the village. Follow-up and training and collection of the payment. This is when they have theoretical training in a room. At every step of the implementation of the program, the training structure needs to know if the teachings are used very well, otherwise they make correction. Because if it's not followed up, errors happen and we cannot reach the result expected. The follow-up is done until harvest, from the beginning to the end of the structure, and the place is the village in question, and the responsible is the structure of training, and responsible, the people responsible of the collecting the payments is the employment agency fund, national fund. Before the results, I started with agriculture, and I presented the different steps in agriculture to see the different levels and the creation of employment at every step in the production. We take, for example, production, and we have the planting, and we have sowing, and fertilizer until the harvest. They do not work individually anymore, they work in groups, and the surface also becomes bigger. The methods used become modern, and the equipment are better adapted to the method. This creates employment. Those who are not well trained are trained so that they can work in a more appropriate way, and so in a modern way also harvest in a modern way. Now we think about the transformation. There is transformation. There are possibilities. For example, cassava, we have cassava, flour, and flour. We have a certain number of products. Can you hear me? We have a certain number of products that we finally bring to the market, and it's not. Sometimes there is no need to transform. Okay. There are products that do not need to be transformed. As soon as they're harvested, they're taken to the market. For this, we give them the means and methods of commercialization and help them to find customers. But it's not well developed yet because FNE does not intervene or own the chain. It intervenes only at the branch, the steps with difficulty to make the chain more fluid. And compared to what I've seen this morning, I have had the idea that we have already intervened at the level of each step. It would be good. It would be better to take the whole line to see clearly what happens at each level and to see what comes out of this. Because there are employment creation. I show you these results of 2015. At that time, there were financial means. Everything was normal. And you've also seen what happened as program funded, number of people, and the cost, and the average and employment produced. After that, after 2015, we had financial means. In 3 years, we had 93,000 jobs created. In 2018, we have 103,000 jobs created. We hope that at someone will have the means to launch and reinforce the program and work for one line after online. Please stay here. We'll ask people if they have questions. The computers. Other questions? Ladies, 1, 2, 3. I start with the man here, and then you can answer later. Thank you. Does it work? Does the microphone work? Sir. Okay. Thank you. Please go. Come on. Your attention, please. Thank you for giving me the floor. Mrs. Director, I'd like to share my experience. We developed a similar program that we call agricultural loan. I'd like to know, how do you recover? What kind of guarantee? What guarantees the recovering of the financing you give to the peasants? 2 or 3 people, then you can answer. I think that was you. Thank you, madam. I also have the same question, but I don't want to be redundant. What is the rate of recovery of money achieved? We have not provided the results of the follow-up and evaluation of the money injected into the training. What did that money produce? A third question? Thank you. I'd like to ask the same question. At the UNAP, we talked about direct financing, and you are talking about attribution of agricultural materials. Do you have people who provide you? What is the procedure to acquire this agricultural material and to give to the producers? We stop here and then we'll go for a second time. Okay, can you answer now? As for the recovery of the loans, I'll answer this question, and we'll give you the procedure. we use to launch a program in a village. What we do first is that when we want to launch a program, we inform the authorities, the administrative authorities first, and the traditional ones as well, because before we went straight to the actors, we used to do that. But in terms of recovery, some of the money did not return, was not returned. And we said that it would be better have guidelines and inform the administrative authorities and the governor, and the governor informs the local governor of the department in question. When we arrive, the local governor presides this meeting, the meeting with the promoters. When they understand, they organize a meeting with the promoters and the authorities, traditional authorities, because traditional authorities are the ones who master, because you have traditional authorities at different levels. There are the highest and others in the villages, I don't know how they call them. We have to work with these people. Maybe even if you want, make them integrate them into the program, and they are informed at the beginning in the setting up of the program. The authorities go with us at every step, so that at the end of the program, when it's time to recover the money, people with bad intention that always exist, we use the traditional administrative people talking about competition. For us, the competition is done at the level of the local governors, because they are those who have the department in hand. We use that. This is what helps us to recover the fund what we pay. Even with this, there are some that always disappear. Not exactly everything comes back. As for the rate, we are at 60%. We recover 60% because all these people are integrated and in the program. And when we install the program and give the authorities the materials, the authorities are there and insist on reimbursement. But always there are some other people who are very strong and disappear with that. As for the evaluation, this evaluation is not done on a scientific way yet. We are just trying to use our competence to see what we can do and what is done, what happened, what should be done after. At this time, we send everything at the general direction. That puts up everything. But about scientific evaluation, we have not done that yet. The second round of questions. Madam, you have already spoken. You too. The three of you. Thank you. 4. Come on. Good morning. I am Casimir. To come back on the aspect of recovery of the loan, in fact, when the target is a category of people with no means, the guarantee of reimbursement is without interest. If I take example of INAPE yesterday and extend it over the other institutions about employment, working in employment, I don't have an experience with Algeria. They've done this. They target the homes that are more vulnerable. They make a morality study and they give them a loan, but they require schooling of their children as a guarantee. They give you a loan and they follow you to see that your activity is going well, but you should register your children at school, and at the end of every year should show the results of your children. If you want to help people to move, maybe you can use this strategy by Algeria. Someone who does not have means, and you give him money, first occasion, he will try to buy a pack of sugar because he needs to drink with this money. So this money given is not used for the objective. Please let me finish. Secondly, I'd like to ask you what you do to ensure the transition from the informal sector to the formal sector. This question is asked to everybody. With the interventions in Mali, UNAPE, and so on, because these types of activities, the loans are 101 million. How do you ensure transition between these amounts? Thank you. Thank you for giving me the floor. I'd like to suggest something following the idea emitted by Chris Malika, to say that if the SPE of all countries, member of the UNCED, want to set up a platform of green initiatives that will promote green incubators and bring them of a form of university, green university, to give them notions of training or notions of the making of bio pesticides, bio fertilizers for agricultural bio program. This will help us as young promoters to explode the vision of the green promotion. This is a suggestion that I have to make. Good question. We'll keep this for tomorrow morning as recommendation. Third occasion of questions now. Thank you. I'd like to ask our colleague, how do you the risk of political influence? How do you choose the villages? I am a politician. I'd like to know, they give you money, but there are elections. You should know my village so that I should. How do you go around politics? Thank you. This is a new show now. Question. We shared the experience of Algeria and the use of the loan for food in families without means, and wants to put everything together. These programs, if these are formalized and all the villages, is there a possibility of integrating and negotiate markets to make it some kind of social protection, some kind of transition in the communication with formal economy? What I would like to say is that one question about the person selected, the people who are selected. It depends on what everyone looks for. The FME decided to help actors who are already working in a given field and who have the will of developing their activities. That's why when you go to the backcountry, when you go to sensitize people and training, we see the content of the program with the requirements of the program. People who are interested register for it and accept the conditions and to benefit of the program. When we accept, when someone is interested and has the will, we can do something very interesting. There are people who at the beginning had very difficulty to send their children to school and improve their life condition, but many did improve their life condition. If you go to evaluate, you will see people tell you that now I don't have difficulties to pay the schooling of my children, and I could build this building where I live in now with my family. It depends on everybody, and it depends on the objectives set up by everybody. Someone who is not interested because of his lack of interest, he will not succeed. But going from the informal to the formal sector, I think we have not done it yet. It needs to push the populations to know that what they have is very precious and they can grow in the activity they are carrying on. And when they grow, some will not even need the help of FME. We just accompany them, and when the time comes, we will push them toward this formal sector. Now we'll stay here, and this is a personal question. A brief intervention, please. In politics, also we'll take Edmund. My intervention is a contribution and suggestion. For recovery is a general problem. When you finance, it's not in Morocco. We have a program, 2005, linked to we create loan, health, and payment, and the region centers and bankers and investment groups. But finally, with the program of recovery, people are saying if money goes, is guaranteed. There should be a guarantee. It cannot make money come back. But since 2012, the public powers made a decision, decided to, if you want to create a business, it's not money. You should have an entrepreneurial spirit to validate your idea. You have to validate the idea of project, and the public service will accompany with training and elaboration on the administration, documents and the fundings, and find external fundings with their procedures like micro loans and local initiative of development and banks, and when there is a problem of where there is a problem of recovery, the program will not work very well. In politics, in the agency, we do not do politics. is the general director who manages the political aspect of it. By managing the politics aspect, we focus on previous programs, how people used to behave, and if the objectives were reached or not, because some people do not apply the teaching received and they fail. As a result, they have difficulty to pay back. And the first criteria to fund a group is the reimbursement. And that reimbursement, when there is a successful activity, but the general director have a means to say yes, to say something. There is an interesting experience that was shared. Do you have a comment on that? No, I don't have a comment. Thank you.